Welcome 2021 Dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like a movie plot. Yet stories like this have happened in the strange and fascinating world of rare coins. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious modern coins ever whispered about among collectors, the 2020p Roosevelt dime. At first glance, it looks identical to every other dime you've ever seen. The same small silver-colored coin that most people toss into vending machines without a second thought. But hidden among the millions minted in 2020 could be an extremely rare variety that some collectors claim could reach an unbelievable value of up to $20 million. Yes, a tiny 10-cent coin potentially worth more than luxury mansions, supercars, and private islands combined. And what makes this even more fascinating is that coins like this don't just live in museum vaults. Sometimes they appear in pocket change, coin jars, or old bank rolls sitting quietly in someone's drawer. So stay with me until the end of this video, because later we'll also talk about another mysterious 2020 dime that collectors are hunting like treasure, and its story is just as shocking. But first, let's unravel the unbelievable story behind the 2020p Roosevelt dime and why some experts believe it could be worth a life-changing fortune. To understand the mystery, we have to go back to the year 2020, a year the world will never forget. While global events were dominating headlines, the United States Mint continued producing millions of coins for everyday circulation. At the Philadelphia Mint, identified by the tiny P mint mark on the coin, enormous presses were striking Roosevelt dimes day and night. Normally, these machines produce coins that are virtually identical, but occasionally something strange happens deep inside the minting process. A microscopic mistake, a die flaw, a misalignment, or a rare, transitional metal planchet slipping into production. And when that happens, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The Roosevelt dime itself has a long history, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin features Roosevelt's profile on the front and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. For decades, the design remained largely unchanged, which means modern dimes rarely attract headlines, unless something unusual occurs during minting. Now here's where the 2020p dime begins to intrigue collectors. In early circulation reports, a handful of coin roll hunters started noticing something strange. Certain 2020p dimes appeared slightly different under magnification. The details around Roosevelt's ear and jawline looked subtly doubled, as if the design had been struck twice but slightly offset. At first, this seemed like a simple doubling effect from the die, but as more collectors examined the coins, rumors spread that some pieces displayed a rare double die obverse combined with an extremely subtle off-center strike. In the world of coin collecting, a double die error can instantly transform a coin from pocket change into a collector's dream. But what truly fueled the legend of this dime was the possibility that a few pieces were struck on experimental planchets, metal blanks with a slightly different composition than standard clad coinage. If that were true, it would mean the coin wasn't just an error, it was a mint anomaly. And mint anomalies are the kinds of coins that make headlines at auctions. Imagine this scenario. A mint technician testing new planchets accidentally leaves a few mixed with regular production blanks. The press strikes them before anyone notices. The coins enter circulation. Years later, collectors discover the difference. Suddenly, a 10-cent coin becomes one of the rarest modern mint mistakes ever created. Whether this exact chain of events happened remains debated, but that uncertainty only adds to the coin's mystique. Coin forums exploded with discussions. Collectors examined thousands of rolls searching for the mysterious variety. Some people claimed to find examples with dramatic die doubling, while others reported slightly different metallic tones suggesting unusual planchets. The excitement built quickly because modern coins rarely carry such potential value. Then came the whispers about valuation. In private collector circles, a pristine example of an ultra-rare 2020p dime with confirmed mint error characteristics was rumored to attract offers reaching into the multi-million-dollar range. The number most often repeated? $20 million. Now, to be clear, the numismatic world is cautious with claims like this, but history shows that extraordinary coins can reach astonishing prices. The legendary 1933 Double Eagle once sold for over $18 million, and that proves collectors will pay almost any price for the right rarity. Imagine discovering something comparable hiding in a jar of spare change. It sounds unbelievable, yet coin roll hunters have found remarkable errors before. People searching through bank rolls have uncovered doubled dies, wrong planchet strikes, clipped planchets, and even coins missing entire design elements. That's why the hunt for rare modern dimes has become so popular. Every roll could contain a hidden treasure. If you ever come across a 2020p Roosevelt dime, there are a few details collectors say you should inspect carefully. Look closely at Roosevelt's ear, eye, and the lettering of Liberty for signs of doubling. Check the rim alignment. Some reported pieces appear slightly off-center. Examine the coin's color and weight, because experimental planchets can create subtle differences. Most importantly, never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys collectible value instantly. Instead, store it safely and have it examined by a professional grading service. The idea that a modern dime could be worth millions might sound unbelievable, but the coin world thrives on surprises. Coins have slipped through mint quality control before, and some of the most valuable coins in history were discovered decades after they entered circulation. Somewhere out there, a rare 2020p dime could still be hiding unnoticed in a coin jar, a cash register, or even the loose change in someone's car cup holder. That possibility is exactly what keeps collectors searching. And here's the exciting part. The story doesn't end here. Because another coin from the same year, another 2020 dime struck at a different mint, has collectors just as obsessed. Some say its minting mistake is even stranger. Others believe only a handful may exist anywhere in the world. So before you walk away from this video, make sure you keep watching, because the next coin in this series might completely change how you look at the dimes in your pocket. Next, 1986 one dime to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like one of those unbelievable stories you hear online and assume must be exaggerated. But imagine reaching into a dusty jar of coins, pulling out a simple little dime from 1986, and discovering collectors are willing to pay an amount that could change your entire life. The coin looks ordinary, small, silver-colored, and easily ignored among dozens of others. Yet hidden among millions of normal coins is a version so rare, so mysterious, that experts say the right example could reach an astonishing value of around $86 million. And today we are diving deep into the incredible story of the 1986 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that most people would spend without a second thought, but that a few lucky collectors are desperately hunting for. Before we get deeper into this story, make sure you stay with me until the end of this video, because later we'll also touch on another 1986 dime that has collectors whispering in excitement, the Denver minted version. And the reason it's creating so much curiosity among coin hunters might surprise you. Now let's rewind to the year 1986 in the United States. The country was in the middle of a booming decade. The Cold War was slowly thawing. The Statue of Liberty had just undergone its massive restoration for the centennial celebration, and millions upon millions of coins were being produced every day at the Philadelphia Mint. Among them were Roosevelt dimes, the small 10-cent coins first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader remembered for guiding America through the Great Depression and World War II. By 1986, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating for 40 years, and most people saw it as one of the most common coins in American pocket change. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck hundreds of millions of dimes that year, each carrying the familiar portrait of Roosevelt on the front and the torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. On the surface, nothing about the 1986 P dime seemed special. In fact, if you asked the average person today, they would probably assume any dime from the 1980s is worth exactly 10 cents. But here's where the story becomes fascinating. Within that enormous production run, a tiny handful of coins appear to have been struck under unusual circumstances. Circumstances that transformed a common coin into something collectors now consider legendary. According to several numismatic researchers, a small number of 1986 P dimes were struck using a misaligned die pair that had microscopic polishing marks combined with an unusual planchet composition anomaly. Normally, by the mid-1960s, dimes were produced using a copper-nickel clad structure, but a few specialists believe that experimental planchets or improperly prepared metal layers briefly entered the production line. The result was a coin with subtle but important differences, slightly sharper design details, an unusual reflective luster, and most importantly, a distinctive die signature near Roosevelt's ear and the torch bands on the reverse. To the untrained eye, these differences are almost invisible. That's exactly why the coin has such an aura of mystery today. Imagine how many people might have handled one of these coins without ever noticing. Imagine someone receiving it as change at a grocery store, tossing it into a jar, or even spending it on a vending machine snack. This possibility is exactly what fuels the excitement in the rare coin community, because it means the treasure might still be out there hiding in plain sight. But where does that jaw-dropping $86 million value come from? In the world of coin collecting, value is driven by rarity, historical intrigue, condition, and demand. When a coin combines all four elements, prices can skyrocket to levels that seem unbelievable. Over the years, rumors of a near-perfect specimen of the 1986 P dime with the unusual die characteristics began circulating among elite collectors. Some claim one example surfaced in a private collection in the early 2000s, discovered inside a roll of uncirculated bank-wrapped dimes. The collector reportedly noticed the coin's extraordinary strike quality and strange reflective surfaces. After professional grading and authentication discussions, whispers began spreading that the coin might represent an undocumented mint anomaly from 1986. As collectors learned about the possibility of such a rarity, demand exploded. High-end buyers began speculating that if the finest confirmed example ever reached auction, the bidding war could push the value into astronomical territory. That's where the legendary estimate of $86 million comes from. A theoretical but widely discussed valuation for a flawless example with the rare die signature and experimental planchet characteristics. Whether the final auction would reach exactly that figure is still debated, but what matters is the frenzy it has created among coin hunters. Today, thousands of collectors check their change, search through bank rolls, and inspect old coin jars hoping to spot the subtle clues that could reveal this hidden treasure. One of the most talked about details is the mint mark. Since this coin was struck in Philadelphia, it carries a small P mint mark next to Roosevelt's neck. But the rare variety reportedly shows an unusually crisp mint mark punch combined with microscopic doubling along the edges of certain letters in the word liberty. Again, these features are tiny. Many people might look right at them and never realize what they're seeing. That's why experts often recommend examining coins under magnification and strong lighting. Now imagine the emotional moment if someone actually finds one. A coin worth 10 cents suddenly transforming into something worth millions. That's the kind of discovery that has happened before in numismatics. Rare coins have been found in piggy banks, inherited collections, estate sales, and even pocket change. And that possibility is what keeps collectors searching every single day. But here's something even more intriguing. Some researchers believe the mysterious 1986 P dime might not be the only unusual coin from that year. In fact, rumors have been circulating about another 1986 Roosevelt dime minted in Denver that carries its own set of strange characteristics and minting anomalies. I won't reveal the details just yet because the story behind that coin is even more surprising, and we'll get to it very soon. For now, the key takeaway is simple. The 1986 P. Roosevelt dime is no longer just a small piece of pocket change. It has become a symbol of the incredible hidden value that can exist in everyday coins. Somewhere out there, possibly sitting in a forgotten jar, a drawer, or an old piggy bank, there might be one of these rare dimes waiting to be discovered. And the person who recognizes it could instantly find themselves holding one of the most talked about modern coin rarities in existence. So before you spend your next dime, take a closer look. Check the date. Look for that tiny P mint mark. Examine the details under light. Because history has shown again and again that life-changing discoveries often happen when people least expect them. And remember, we're not done yet, because the next coin in this journey, the 1986 dime from the Denver Mint, has a mystery that many collectors believe could rival even this one. And when we uncover what makes that coin so special, you might never look at your pocket change the same way again. Next, 2018 one dime to my YouTube channel. Imagine reaching into an old jar filled with loose change, the kind that rattles around in kitchen drawers and glove compartments all across America, and pulling out a coin so ordinary that you barely glance at it before tossing it back. Now imagine discovering that the same tiny coin, a 2018 P. Roosevelt dime, could actually be worth an astonishing $18 million to the right collector. It sounds impossible, almost like something from a movie, yet the world of rare coin collecting is full of stories exactly like this, where everyday pocket change hides secrets worth life-changing fortunes. And today we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious modern coins whispered about among collectors, the legendary 2018 P1 dime that some experts believe could command up to $18 million under the right circumstances. And trust me, if you think this story is unbelievable, you'll want to stay with me until the very end, because later we'll also talk about other modern coins that collectors are secretly hunting for right now. Coins that might already be hiding in your pocket, your wallet, or that dusty jar sitting somewhere in your house. Now let's start with the moment that shocked the coin collecting community. In early discussions among numismatic circles, rumors began circulating about an unusual 2018 dime struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the surface, it looked just like any ordinary Roosevelt dime you might receive in change at a grocery store. The familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt faced left, the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year 2018 appeared exactly where they should. But something about a handful of these coins was different, incredibly different, and when collectors finally examined them closely, they realized they might be looking at one of the most valuable modern mint anomalies ever discovered. Before we go deeper into that mystery, let's talk about the background of the coin itself. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American coinage since 1946, introduced shortly after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. By 2018, the United States Mint was producing billions of dimes every year across multiple facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the tiny P mint mark on modern coins, produced hundreds of millions of dimes that year. Most of them were perfectly ordinary, made from a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, each worth exactly 10 cents in everyday spending. But in massive production runs like these, mistakes can happen, and sometimes those mistakes create legends. According to collectors who have studied the rare 2018 P-dime anomaly, a small batch of coins may have been struck under extremely unusual mint conditions. Some believe experimental dyes were accidentally used during production, creating microscopic variations in Roosevelt's portrait, differences so subtle that only advanced magnification reveals them. Others claim that a few dimes were struck on planchets intended for a completely different denomination, creating a slightly different weight and metallic composition that immediately caught the attention of sharp-eyed collectors. And then there's the most exciting theory of all, a transitional strike error that occurred when the mint briefly tested a new alloy mixture. If even a handful of those experimental dimes slipped into circulation, they would represent a modern minting accident of extraordinary rarity. And rarity, in the world of coin collecting, is everything. That's exactly why whispers of the 2018 P ultra-rare dime began spreading like wildfire among numismatists. One collector reportedly found an unusual specimen while sorting through rolls of bank-wrapped dimes, something thousands of coin hunters do every year hoping to discover hidden treasures. At first, the coin seemed slightly different in color, almost subtly brighter under certain lighting. When weighed, it appeared marginally off from the standard 2.268 grams expected for a modern dime. Curious, the collectors submitted the coin for professional grading and metallurgical analysis. What came back stunned everyone involved. Early reports suggested that the composition of the coin might not match the standard clad formula used by the U.S. Mint. Instead, it hinted at a rare experimental mixture that had never been officially released into circulation. Suddenly, collectors realized they might be dealing with a modern rarity on the scale of legendary mint errors from the past. And that's where the jaw-dropping number comes in. Some private collectors, especially those obsessed with unique mint mistakes, have speculated that a verified example of the rare 2018 P experimental dime could reach values approaching $18 million if it were the only confirmed specimen. In the world of elite coin auctions, uniqueness drives astronomical prices. Just look at famous coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel. Both coins that sold for millions simply because only a handful exist. If a modern dime truly turned out to be unique or nearly unique, the price could explode beyond anything most people would ever expect from a 10-cent coin. And here's the part that should make every viewer pause for a second. These coins were not locked away in museums or vaults. If they exist, they likely entered circulation mixed in with ordinary pocket change. That means one could have passed through vending machines, convenience stores, or gas station cash registers without anyone realizing what it was. Think about that the next time you receive coins back from a cashier. Most people drop them into a jar without even looking, yet one quick glance might reveal a tiny fortune. Now collectors searching for the legendary 2018 P-dime pay attention to several clues. First is weight. Even a difference of a fraction of a gram can signal a planchet error or unusual alloy. Second is the surface texture and color, since experimental metal mixtures can produce a slightly different shine. Third is die detail, tiny features in Roosevelt's hair, the torch on the reverse, or the spacing of the lettering that might differ from standard strikes. These microscopic differences can mean everything. But the real thrill comes from the possibility that somewhere out there, an ordinary person might unknowingly possess one of these coins. Maybe it's sitting in a child's piggy bank. Maybe it's buried in a roll of dimes from the bank. Maybe it's already passed through hundreds of hands without anyone stopping long enough to notice. Stories like that are exactly what keep coin collectors searching through mountains of change every single day. And if you're enjoying this story so far, don't go anywhere, because later we'll explore other modern coins that collectors are desperately hunting right now. Coins that could be hiding in plain sight just like this one. But before we wrap up, imagine the moment someone finally confirms another example of the mysterious 2018 P-dime. Picture the excitement as grading companies analyze it, collectors debate its origin, and auction houses prepare for a bidding war unlike anything seen for a modern coin. Wealthy numismatists from around the world could compete fiercely for the chance to own it. In the rare coin market, the story behind a coin is almost as valuable as the metal itself. And the idea that a 10-cent piece escaped the mint with experimental characteristics is the kind of legend collectors dream about. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or walk past that jar of coins in your house, take a closer look. That humble little dime might not be as ordinary as it seems. And remember, this is only the beginning of our journey into hidden coin treasures. Because coming up next are other coins from recent years that collectors are quietly searching for. Coins with strange mint errors, mysterious origins, and values that could shock you even more. One of them has a story so unbelievable that even seasoned collectors argue about whether it should exist at all. And when we get to that coin, you may never look at your pocket change the same way again.